Why do you work? What does it mean to you?
Why do I work? Well, first you got to live, right? I guess it started out, I just wanted to be successful. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and the job for me was always never just to bring money in. It was really, I wanted to feel accomplished. I wanted to get somewhere and to rise above the ranks. And so that was motivating for me, right? That was what made me want to work hard in school to get the best grades, to get the best, entrance to a college. I chose the degree in the school I went to because they had the best career placement across any of the places that I applied to, and that meant a lot to me.
Jasmine, why do you work?
Why do I work? Because we live in a capitalist society and you can't survive without working. If that's like the simplest answer, that is why I work. But I will say why I do the work that I do now is part that, right? But then also another part, just like passion for like my people and my community, especially whenever we talk about just like health disparities within our societies, within our countries. Way too often it's us, the people who look like us, that receive the shorter end of the stick. And I'm tired of it. I grew up with people who had these different like chronic or terminal illnesses, and just seeing the way that the healthcare system treated them. And then also like my own personal journey and seeing how I was treated. I said, if I can be a part of this change, then I will. So yeah, survival, basically that's it, just survival. Survival from like a health standpoint, and also we in this country, you got to make money to survive.
Jared, why do you work?
I work because I enjoy making money. That's why I'm in sales, kind of a coin-operated machine. But besides that, the reason why I love my profession, which is enterprise software sales, is I like talking to organizations about their business initiatives, their business problems, their business goals, and seeing how our technology can help them get there. So I have a background in finance and marketing from Macomb School of Business, University of Texas. So it's really like a best of both worlds where I get to utilize technology, business consultation, and strategy, and do it in a way where I can dictate my own W-2 every year. So that's why I work.
I want to learn, and you let us know, why do you work, John?
Okay, well, I work, not just work, I just feel that every step is calculated, every breath is appreciated. So I'm dedicated to my grind, dedicated to my family. I wake up probably since I was 7 years old with how can I make my mother proud today? And so now since I have a family, 2 beautiful kids, my daughter's 19, she's at Trinity College. My son's working on his master's. What can I do for them, every day? That's what I'm here for.
I mean, you said that,
How do we understand the definition of what is execution versus, or what is actually executing, right, to a VC standard versus what is executing to an individual, right? Because to them, they've been working on this for a year, right? Most entrepreneurs are working on their product for however long they've been, quote unquote, executing, right, to whatever lack of the extent of understanding what that word really means. But they've been working on their project. So how would you say execution can show, or at least at what point does execution shows something to you that is worth your while for you to actually take a deeper look into it?
Yeah, I guess do they have a product in the market, right? Or do they have paying customers?
So
do they have a capital?
A year into this, I've been working on this 365 days, no active product in market, no customers. Big idea.
Got it. Yeah, so look, every situation is every situation depends on that. In the case of Jumpstart, we've invested in ideas, right? But just kind of removing Jumpstart from the equation, I think it's just when that's what they mean. Like, I think when someone says execute, do you have a product? Do you have customers? And it's about how you tell that story. If you've never raised capital or sold a company, then yeah, it's how have you executed as a founder? I guess that's the mentality.
Why do you work, John? What does that mean?
Why do I work? I work because I like helping people. I think a lot of the mentorship that I do, it generally helps people. Like, I remember there was this one time, I'm not, surprising as it may be, I was not the best networker. Seriously. And you see how that worked out, pretty good. But we're here. But I remember my first network, sophomore year, was you should go to this job. Essentially, I was still figuring things out, wasn't the most vocal person. I went, and essentially I go there and the lady's just like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hello. He's like, all right, so tell me about yourself. And I look at her, and then I start to walk. She's like, no, come back.
Was that tactics?
No, it wasn't a tactic. It was like I was
I might have to write that down.
She said come back. She said come back.
Why do you work, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, this was a tough one. No one's ever really asked me the why. And I guess my why is I want to just make a healthier relationship with music and money. You always listen to these interviews, and there's always this conversation about there's not enough financial literacy in music and sport, just all across the board. And so for me, in my small space in this thing, I want to make sure that I'm creating like a healthy ecosystem.
Why do you work?
Why do I work? I think because I've got a view of the world where technology ought to be something that powers humanity and makes the world a little bit better, right? And I don't see that showing up everywhere, so that's why I work, to make that so.
Appreciate that.
Why do you work, and what does it mean to you?
So work for me is all about freedom. It's about creating really the impact of not just personal freedom and family freedom, but also stewardship of the kind of impact that I want to have on the world. So for instance, let me give an example, because that feels a little abstract to say, but I've had a career, 10 plus year in the venture-backed startup food tech space, sort of adjacent to biotech and food tech. And I drove into this whole career basically building a legacy around an external mission of getting animals out of the food system, creating better plant-based meat and dairy products that made consumers have comparable choice if they wanted to maybe have something that was like a plant-based burger and not have the beef burger, with a better environmental footprint, better animal welfare, that kind of thing. And it dove me into the world of high growth venture backs with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line in these big pre-revenue raises. And so it's an interesting question. Why did I work? Why do I work? Because for a very long time, I put a lot of emphasis on I work as a conduit for good to evolve the food system to be more sustainable and more equitable. Now, at the same time, I'm a person. I have a family. I have 2 young daughters, 4 and 2-year-old daughters now. And the evolution of me as a person has caused an evolution of the reason for why I work. Where it used to all be about this kind of external mission, it's become a little bit more about foundational and generational building and freedom of time, freedom of intention. The freedom to say no actually is probably the most powerful one. So I remember this moment where I had just started, we just had our first baby. I was on a flight to Boston for a company that I'd helped to start. We had just raised more than $100 million Series A. It was the largest Series A in our space at the time. It was my 3rd flight that month. I live in Southern California. That's like a 6-hour flight. And I'm just ping-ponging back and forth, right? I should be all stoked, should be all happy, oh my goodness, we're going to change the world. And to some degree I was. But at the other side of it, I remember looking down at LAX on that JetBlue flight. By the way, Sunday, of course, because you got to be there for the Monday morning meetings. And I'm like looking down. I know my wife is at the beach. My friends are all hanging out. And I just realized I'm flying away from everything that I love to pursue this external path. And this is not sitting right. This is not the right mission for me. This is not the reason why I should be working to pursue something that's kind of out of my control. And so I really had this major recalibration moment. I remember on that flight, it was painful, especially at the culmination of just raising this money and going to do all these things and the expectations that the venture folks put on you. But a lot of things changed for me. And over the course of the next few years, I started to really look at alternative ways of living life where I could have more personal freedom, not just create good income and have this big paper net worth that tied to startup equity, but creating passive cash flow, tax advantage, leverage around something that was a little more tried and true. And I found that vehicle in real estate that allowed me to ultimately live with more intention, more freedom. And now I really see kind of actually my calling is to help others have that freedom too, and to create opportunities for them to create control in their own lives, away from the stock market, away from things they can't control, and into things that are more graspable and aren't such swing for the fence type strategies.
Let's explain to our viewers what Technically is.
Yeah, I mean, we're a news organization. We are a team of 18 humans, half of whom are actual God's honest full-time journalists who call people on the phone, who pull down CSVs and PDFs and data and put together trends and people stories and the narratives that help people better understand complex issues. We publish them on a website hosted in the cloud. We send links to said articles into a newsletter. Our clients are economic development organizations who want their regions better known for their entrepreneurship communities, and service providers who want to reach entrepreneurs, law firms, accounting firms, financial firms, and tech firms that hire people, though it's been a weird 18 months on the hiring side, but they also were long a client mix. So we're a news organization with a community, and we help our clients meet and improve their reputation in that community.
Why do you feel it to be necessary to expose it to a lot of retail investors, not just having it open to accredited investors as well?
So first of all, I want to say that I think that, the world of alternatives is not, in my mind, meant to be like a majority of one's investments. Okay, they're called alternative for a reason, and we are more than happy to keep it that way. We know this is not mainstream. I think most people basically should have a majority of their investments in equities, right? I do too, right? That is I'm no different than the mainstream when it comes to that. But when it comes to alternatives, man, there is just a world of opportunity out there. And there are some really interesting and valuable opportunities. They are starting to bubble up to the surface. We are in the business, first and foremost, of exploring those opportunities through a very neutral, unbiased lens. Due diligence is a huge part of alternative investing and a huge part of what we do. Both Wyatt and I have due diligence in our background, right? So when I was at Flippa, I started Flippa's due diligence program. I'm talking one of the biggest problems Flippa had back in the day was people were like, hey guys, great platform. How can I trust what the seller's saying? How can I trust what this business's numbers are showing? And it's well, at face value, you kind of can't, right? You've got to do the hard work, but people don't have the time to do that. They don't know how to do that. And so I basically created this program for the best businesses on the platform to dig deep and figure out what's going on with it, because every business has a story. So my job was to basically tell that story. So I created this due diligence program from scratch. And then when I started Alts, I kind of applied that same thinking and rationale and decision making to the broader world of investment.
Danny, why do you work?
Honestly, it's a simple yet loaded question. Why I work is I feel like a big part of everyone's life or purpose is not just for yourself, but also just impacting others around you. I think particularly why I really love the field of microbiology, infectious diseases, because we all have the potential to be infected by something, right? Whether it's the common cold or you wake up one day, you have a runny stomach from the stomach virus or something like that. I really love what I do because I feel like it's impactful to the greater society, especially through public health. And what I really enjoy about what I do is I'm discovering something new, through my PhD research that can hopefully be helpful to other labs who are also researching similar things, or maybe later on down the line, it can be helpful to inform a new therapeutic for the bacteria that I work on. So I work because I love what I do. Is exciting and not only interests me, it affects the greater society. And I hope one day to really have an impact in a way where it's when it comes to, I don't wish for another pandemic, I reject it. But in the event that we needed a specialist or somebody to come, it's they can call on me and I can be of use, to hope that things aren't as devastating as they were with COVID-19 and things of that nature. So I work because I'm really interested in my field. I work because I know what I can do can impact many people. And I work because that also gives me my sense of purpose in life. So, yeah.